Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicleknight channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Radiant Eternatus from the Crown Zenith set. Radiant Eternatus is quite unique because of its ability Climactic Gate. When you put this Pokemon from your hand into your bench, you can then search your deck for up to 2 VMAX Pokemon and put them onto your bench. However, when you use this ability, it will end your turn. I've seen this commonly paired with the other VMAXs, but for this video, I wanted to find out if we can Radiant Eternatus VMAX. Eternatus VMAX has the Eternal Zone ability. This ability allows you to expand your bench, allowing you to place up to 8 Dark-type Pokemon in play. You cannot place any non-Dark-type Pokemon in your bench while this ability is in effect, and additionally, this ability will not take effect if you have a non-Dark-type Pokemon in play. So this poses a problem because Radiant Eternatus is a Dragon type. When you use its ability, Eternatus VMAX will be put into play. However, its ability will not take effect until you get Radiant Eternatus out of your board. This is where Scoop Up Net will come into play because it's the easiest way to remove Radiant Eternatus. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And the rest of the deck is typical of an Eternatus VMAX strategy. You just have to fill your bench with a bunch of Pokemon. Eternatus VMAX has the attack Dread End. For 1 dark and 1 colorless energy, this attack deals 30 damage times the number of dark type Pokemon you have in play. So with a maximum of 8 Pokemon, thanks to its ability, it can deal as much as 270 damage. And with the help of Choice Belt, this attack can deal as much as 300 damage against a Pokemon V. Energizing Eternatus VMAX is pretty simple. We can use Dark Patch to accelerate a dark energy from the discard pile to one of your dark type Pokemon in your bench, and combo this with Melanie. You can accelerate a water energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon V, and if you do, you also draw 3 cards. And since we're using water energies, I'm also using Lake Acuity Stadium to increase defense of our Pokemon with water energy attached on them. This will make Eternatus VMAX a lot harder to knock out. For my other Pokemon, I have Crobat V to help us draw into more cards with its Dark Acid ability, and I also have Galarian Zigzagoon with the Headbutt Tantrum ability to do some chip damage. Next is a copy of Galarian Moltres V. This can energize itself and it can attack for a solid 190 damage. And finally, I have a copy of Disable-Eye, more for its Torment attack. For 2 colorless energy, it deals 30 damage, but then you can disable an attack from your opponent's active Pokemon. I think this attack is pretty unique given its disruptive trait. And as for my other notable support cards, I have Cheryl, which can fully heal our Eternatus VMAXs, but just watch out because it will discard all the energies on the Pokemon you healed this way. And finally, I have a copy of Phoebe in case we go against Miltank. Radiant Eternatus is a very unique card, but it's a very inconsistent mechanic, I think. If this is the only Pokemon you have during your starting setup, it will mess you up and hold you back a few turns until you find the Scoop Up Net. And in most cases, since you will want to use Radiant Eternatus in your very first turn, if you can't get access to it, this will leave your other Pokemon open for an attack. And finally, if you have no way to energize your VMAX Pokemon when you put them into play, your whole setup will just go to waste. So considering all the risks involved, in my opinion, I don't think Radiant Eternatus will quite reach that competitive scene just yet, but I could be wrong. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Radiant Eternatus with Eternatus VMAX. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a shout out and thank you to our newest sponsor and friend to this channel, TCGVee. Users will be able to buy and sell Pokemon TCG online codes with each other instantly, so please be sure to show your support to TCGVee. Links will be in the description below. Alright, let's get right into our first match. My opponent chooses to go first, and we are going to start this one with an Eternatus V in the active spot. I did include 2 basic Eternatus Vs in this deck, just as a fallback in case we can't set up our Radiant Eternatus, and at least we have some basic Eternatus to evolve into a VMAX. And it looks like we are going up against a Mew VMAX build. Definitely a winnable matchup because we do have the type advantage, but we do have to set up our other Pokemon here. They have the potential to knock out our active on their second turn. They can't attack now. We will survive this turn, but at least we have a Quick Ball. We can probably discard that water energy to set up for a Melanie, and then we can play our Radiant Eternatus so that we can get our Eternatus VMAXs into play. But the fact that Radiant Eternatus's ability ends your turn leaves your Pokemon open for an attack. That's what makes it a little bit dangerous to use, but it is pretty useful in some instances, especially if you're going against an opponent that sets up pretty slowly. So now it's our turn. We are just going to bump out their stadium so that our Pokemon will not get damaged when we attach an energy. I'm just going to use this Quick Ball and grab our Crobat for now, because we have Ultra Ball. We can use that to get our Radiant Eternatus. And then at least we can draw a few extra cards during this turn, and then we can set up for our other Pokemon to increase our damage output. So let me just attach this Water Energy. Use Crobat V to draw 5 cards with its Dark Acid ability. We got our Sableye, and we got a Melanie, but we need a Dark type Pokemon. So what I'm gonna do is just use Radiant Eternatus to get our 2 Eternatus VMAXs into play. So there it is, guys. 2 Eternatus VMAX ready to go. It's all up to my opponent. They can knock out my Eternatus V in the active spot. It's a little bit difficult for me to retreat it right now because it requires 2 energies to retreat it. I don't have any switch, but we can use Melanie to charge up our other Eternatus, and we need to find that scoop up net so that we can get this Radiant Eternatus out of play so that Eternatus VMAX's ability will take into effect. That's the only downside, because Radiant Eternatus is a dragon type, so it doesn't really pair with Eternatus VMAX 100%. But thankfully we still have access to scoop up net. That's what's gonna help us to get it out of there. And with their Meloetta, they attack, but they only get us for 120 damage, so our active does survive. At least that puts us in safety, I guess, for now. What I'm gonna do is just use Melanie to charge up the one on the bench. I don't want to evolve into an Eternatus VMAX. If they knock it out, we are just going to lose 3 prizes. So what I'm gonna do, since we have scoop up net, I am just gonna use this Dark Patch and then scoop it up. That way we can remove it out of play. That will activate Eternatus VMAX's ability. So now we can use Dread and just deal 340 damage, because Meloetta is weak against Dark as well. And we don't need as many Pokemon on our bench just yet. And I didn't want to put my Galarian Moltres V just yet, because they could just boss it and then get 2 prizes for that. And that could be my opponent's plan as well. If they can just pick out 3 Pokemon, even if they get 2 prizes each, they could still win this one. And we will still need to get... I mean, I could knock out 1 Mew VMAX and then 1 Genesect V to win this one. So I think we got this already. The type advantage really does make a big difference. So they have 2 Mew VMAX already set up. And I don't think they can knock out our Eternatus VMAX either, because we just have so much HP. And there is no other attack that they can use to deal so much damage, because they don't have much Fusion Strike energies in play right now. But they will attempt to attack with Mew VMAX, but we just knock it out in the next turn, and we don't really need to try as hard because it is weak to Dark. They're only dealing 190 damage. They can knock us out in the next turn. But we're going to charge up our other Eternatus VMAX and set it up for our next turn. Then just evolve this, I guess. And then we're just going to Dread and 400 damage. Man, that is overkill right there. 3 prizes for that. This is going to be an easy match, but at least we were able to showcase how practical it can be. Even with this deck, Radiant Eternatus can actually work with Eternatus VMAX. There's a few setbacks because of the conflicting effects to Eternatus VMAX's ability, but with a scoop up net, it can work. But I mean, we can't really talk about rotation because Eternatus VMAX will rotate out as well, if I'm not mistaken, and then scoop up net will be rotating out. So really, Radiant Eternatus is going to be almost close to unusable come the rotation in March, because once scoop up net disappears, it's going to be a lot harder for players to get it out of auto play. But I think that's only for this type of decks. Alright, so my opponent does knock out my Eternatus VMAX, but we can just replace it. We can just easily knock this guy out with our second Eternatus VMAX, energized with Melanie. And we're just gonna maximize damage here. Dread End for the win, 540 damage. Dude, that was not even a match right there. Well, good game nonetheless. Alright, let's move on to our next match. And Zigzagoon seems practical here. So we don't want to put any big liabilities in play right away. Okay, looks like my opponent is using a grass type deck. And there is no sign for us or any card that we can use to get our Radiant Eternatus, which is really bad. Not until our second turn anyways, because unless we draw into like a quick ball or something like that, that'd be good. Alright, we took my opponent took a few mulligans here and we got a few extra cards. The danger to that is that we got 2 VMAXs in our hand, which is really dangerous. So I'm just gonna set up a Crobat just so I can set it up. I mean, I could attack with it as well. Deal some chip damage, sanity damage plus poison can go a long way too. And looks like we are going against a Chesnaught V. And this is pretty dangerous because when you attack it, it actually deals 30 damage for each Chesnaught V in play. So with 4 of them in play, they can, if we attack one in the active spot, there's a 120 damage punishment, 12 damage counter punishment to our attacker. So this is pretty dangerous, and they're also increasing their HP, which is gonna make it a lot harder for us to knock one out. So what I'm gonna do here is get a Radiant Eternatus. We do have 2 Eternatus VMAXs in the deck, so I might as well just put it into play. And then I could probably just use Professor's Research, or even Marnie actually, and just drawing 2 more cards. Hopefully, again, the next step is to just get Scoop Up Net and get this Radiant Eternatus out of there so that we can activate Eternatus VMAX's ability. Alright, so they require 3 energies to attack, so we are safe until the next turn. And I'm just filling up my bench here. Hopefully we get a Scoop Up Net. We did not get a Scoop Up Net, unfortunately. So I'm just going to set up my Eternatus VMAX for now with the Choice Belt. And let's see what we could do here. Use our Ordinary Rod to just get Pokemon. Get a full line of... I mean, I could get Galarian Moltres V, because we just need to set up our basics anyway to increase our attack. I just want to get that a good cap so that we can knock out Chesnaught V a lot easier. Because with the Cape of Toughness, it gives it more HP, and with that Cricketune on the bench, giving it more HP, it's gonna be a lot harder to knock it out for sure. Alright, so 260 damage, man. That is... Well, Zigzagoon is weak against grass. So, I mean, at least we are surviving a few attacks from their Chesnaught V. But it heals itself, and we take damage if we attack it. So we need to deal a lot of damage and make it worthwhile when we attack it. Let's see what we could do here. Get a Crobat. Draw into more cards. And then maybe we can attack this turn, actually. Oh, there's the Scoop Up Net. Nice. So let's scoop up our Radiant Eternatus here. Put this Dark Energy. We can attack this turn. And then I'm just gonna pass. I just need to maximize my damage output. That way we just knock this guy out. So right now it has 230 plus 5, 280. So much HP on this guy. So what I'm gonna do is just target this Cricketune, I think, just to eliminate that extra HP, and we can possibly one-hit knock out a Chesnaught after that. Just real hard retreat with my Crobats. Use Crobat with the Dark Acid. Okay, we got another Eternatus V. That will increase our attack. And I mean, I can use my Pal Pad. I don't think... I'll just attack. Let's just knock out this Cricketune. 210 damage. And we got one prize for that. Okay, we got Lake Acuity, which will reduce our damage once we put it into play. 130, so each time my opponent attacks, it'll be 110. And there is really no way for me to get out of this ability from the Chesnaught V. If I attack it, I will get 120 damage. Alright, so I'm just gonna Pal Pad Melanie and also Boss Order, and then 260. Okay, that's a doable. 280 is doable. I think we can go ahead and use Professor's Research. Okay, we got the energy that we need, and we got 2 more Dark type Pokemon, so we can deal a maximum damage of 300, and we can actually knock out this Chesnaught V. So we're just gonna use Dread End for 300 damage. We do take 3 times 4 damage counters. 120 damage to our Eternatus VMAX. Thankfully, they don't have any of their Chesnaught Vs fully energized, so we can expect no attack this turn unless they have something. They are going to use Professor's Research. There is no way that they can deal or accelerate 3 energies to their Chesnaught Vs, but with a Tool Scrapper, that does take away our Choice Belt, making it a lot harder for us to knock out Chesnaught V with that Cape of Toughness. So this is going to be a little bit tough. So I'm just going to eliminate their healing for now. So I'm just going to Dread and 270 damage, and we get 1 more prize for that. I think we're going to be okay. We just need to knock out 1 more Chesnaught V to get our last 2 prizes, and we should be fine. I think we did a good job here. As long as everything goes according to plan, I think energizing Eternatus VMAX is pretty good. But that is a little bit of a challenge when you do play Radiant Eternatus into play. You gotta find that scoop up net, and then that way you can set up fully your Eternatus VMAX. But they're just gonna boss. They're trying to stall, but we do have a switch, and what I'm gonna do is just retreat with this Galarian Moltres, and let's see what I could do here. Use Melanie. Okay, alright. Just wanted to use Melanie there. And then re-energize my Moltres for our second attack. If they do manage to knock out my Eternatus VMAX, that's fine. Because they only have 1 Pokemon that can attack, and then we'll just finish it off with another Eternatus VMAX or even this Galarian Moltres. But they do have healing, man. The lucky Ice Pop. Alright, cool. They only got 1 heads, which is still pretty significant, but it's not going to save them this time. Another lucky Ice Pop. Oh boy. That's 2. 3. What? No! Don't tell me they're going to heal the whole thing. Alright, good. That was a little bit scary there, but as long as we can maintain that a little bit of damage, we can knock it out with another Eternatus VMAX. That's all we need. Even if they knock out our active, we should be fine. We just need 2 prizes, and they only have 1 attacker, and they only deal 110 damage. Not quite enough to knock out our active, and we're just gonna finish it off with a Dread End. There you go. There you have it, guys. Does Radiant Eternatus an Eternatus VMAX? I think it's a 2 thumbs up. I think it works pretty well. until after rotation, that is. Yeah. But yeah, 2 games I think showcased it pretty well. Didn't showcase all of the Pokemon I have in this deck, but I think it worked out pretty well. Alright, good game. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.